Alright, so we're working back on this car. It's been just sitting in the back for a little while. We've just been pretty darn tied up. We just took the bumper off, the radiator's draining. We took the intake off just to get a little bit more room in there. We disconnected all the wiring harness. We're going to leave the wiring harness on the motor and just try to drop that out underneath it.
So you got a big connector here. Just take the bolt out of the back and it just slides out of there. And there's also one right here that goes into what looks to be the PCM or something, but that's also one of the main wiring harnesses that goes in. So hopefully, I'm not sure yet, but hopefully when we go to drop it down, there shouldn't be too many other things, except for the O2 sensors and stuff. We had to disconnect those when we dropped the exhaust. But that's actually pretty easy. There's a flex pipe that goes up, busts a few bolts loose there with the impact if you got one, and then it just flexes right out of the way, real nice and easy. So, other than that, I mean, you got your fuel lines here. You need a quick disconnect tool for those. Power steering, reservoir. We're working on getting the AC. We're either going to take the lines off, vacuum it out, obviously, and you know, just go ahead and refill the system. Or if we can, unbolt it and get it out of the way. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to disconnect the lines. But right now, working on getting the lower radiator hose down here out of the way so that we can get to those lines, because it's just a really tight fit. So other than that, on the power steering rack, there's two big 24mm bolts that you access just literally straight up from the bottom and the back. Bust those loose, take your tie rods loose, and then that whole thing can just kind of hang out in there and just stay up in there, hopefully, when we go to drop the whole cradle down. So basically we just went with the method of taking the struts loose up here in the towers and just dropping the whole suspension down with it. We're going to try and leave the axles in there and stuff. We'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work out and we got to change it, we'll let y'all know. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for now. Oh, one more thing. Obviously the bumper's missing. Take out your headlights. There's like 3 bolts, one here, here, and then one here. Just slides out, and then you can get the bumper off. Got a few bolts up here, a couple back there. You just kind of have to see when you try to put it loose. Basically, we took that off so that we can lift the body of the car off of the motor and everything. We're going to try and run a strap around the bumper support here and use that to lift the front of the car, because obviously there's nowhere else to attach anything to lift the vehicle if you're, you know, dropping it at the bottom of the car. So hopefully that works out. If there's any minor adjustments, we'll let y'all know, but I think that's it for now. Alright guys, so it is, what is it, midnight?
Yep.
Fun stuff. Sorry about the shaky camera. So far, since we last talked to you, we've started to drop it out. Got the pallet jack, if you got one of those, very handy. Just use some 2x4 stacked up underneath the frame rails there. And yeah, basically broke all the body mounts loose and had to disconnect a bunch of other stuff, including both of the fans. So we had to, or so that we could get to the AC lines and stuff, get all those. Yes, we opened up the system. That was the best way we saw to go about it, because getting to the bolts on the AC compressor is not fun in the least. Also, disconnected the, not sure if you can see it very well, it's right here though, the power steering pump, because we opted to leave the, so you can see it back there, the rack and pinion in place attached to the vehicle. Just took those 24mm bolts loose on the bottom like we talked about earlier, and disconnected a couple other lines. There's freaking lines all over the place. You kind of figure it out as you go along. What my buddy's doing right now is, I'll get over here, taking one of the lines loose. I'm sure you can see it connects to the steering box right there. It's a line that goes down underneath the motor and everything. Connects to a power steering inline filter, and then comes up to the front and goes into the transcooler. So yeah, we didn't see that before we started to drop it down, so we can't really get to the connection on this side or up underneath. So because now we got boards and stuff right there, so you might want to make sure you got all of the power steering lines that you're going to need disconnected before you go to drop it down, and you won't have to disconnect it back there at the steering box and be a big you know what in the butt. So alright, but yeah, I think that's everything for now, so signing off.